So Jace is such a difficult champion, right? And people always talk about the Korean Jayces versus the European Jayces. Well, now today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to check out a Jayce that is playing on the European server, and he is an absolute menace with a 74% win rate. Strau. I don't know what that name is. I don't know what it means. I don't even know how to pronounce this. However, he's going to be starting off in the Summoner's Rift on the European server here in the top lane, facing off against a Riven with a Shaco in the jungle and a Jarvan for the Riven. In the mid lane, there is going to be a Ahri versus Lux matchup, which is very rare nowadays. I mean, how much do you see the Lux coming in? And then in the bottom lane, there is going to be an Aphelios Rakan facing off against a Twitch and a Lulu for the red team. Alright, so let's have a look at exactly how this lane is played here. Generally, Jayce, a very technical champion, very aggressive champion. I will not pretend that I know all the secrets to how you are supposed to play the Jayce. However, I have done a couple of reviews already, and obviously have had a look at a lot of videos where Jayce players are coached, or people talk about what is not so good about certain Jayce players. You know, commentators flaming NA Jayces, European Jayces, and kind of just talking about how Jayce, a man of a lot of opportunities. However, you have to take him. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna jump right into the match here in a second, as obviously my speed controls are currently disabled because I spilled water on them. That's Pog. Alright, let's have a look. So, longsword start here for the Riven, as we are going for Doran's Blade on the Jayce, and this also already shows a little bit of the intentions here. Riven running a very weird setup, and Jayce makes it beyond the wave here, and that is absolutely scary. No poke so far. You got to be a little bit careful, obviously. Riven is definitely able to close that gap more than any other champion. However, one thing that Jayce has going for him is he can stack up that counter out real well. And as you can see, can punish, choose his moment to punish the Riven here for being out of position, as this one will do. That is a beautiful job so far. So we're going to hit a Shock Blast here onto the Riven. And we will move in front of the wave. The wave's obviously pushing in, and we are aggressing onwards. As we did miss one minion so far, but that's totally fine. And gonna step up to ward. Warding is very important on these champions, like the Jayce, you know, like the Teemo, like the Azir for that matter, to be honest. Like the Victor as well. If you're playing aggressive and you're trying to bully out that lane with all the tools that you have available to yourself, and then it is a really good idea to get a ward down. Obviously, you can track the jungle. However, eventually you will have to have that ward down to know where exactly the jungle is, because knowing where about the jungle is doesn't really tell you much. And the absolute information is going to be somewhere else. Shaco is going to die here to the bottom lane. Lulu picking up that kill, which, yeah, puts this Jayce into a very difficult situation. Now he's been pushing into a Riven here in a position where Jarvan is able to punish. Riven now dealing a lot of damage here to the wave. Obviously knows that she needs to get this out. A beautiful Shock Blast will catch the Riven off guard, as the Shaco will move into the top side. It's pinging on the way here. Gonna see how exactly this one goes, as the Riven obviously has Ignite as well, so no teleport for the Riven. It's gonna be real difficult, as yeah, we're taking that trade and just all-inning the Riven. Riven will go down. Shaco can't really do much about it, as the lane state, very well recognized, is still about even-ish. Not quite even, but even enough, as we are going to take the leave and teleport back into the lane in a second. And now we have a Doran's Blade of an advantage, which is a pretty big advantage, of course, as the Twitch with the flash will secure that kill here on to history. Dynamite. the Aphelios. Lux, not really ready to help. Standing by there. As the Conqueror will be stacked, and Riven should find an engage before she hits that, you know, that execute threshold here. So should be looking for a little bit of an engage. Can be very difficult, of course, if you use your Qs onto the wave and you don't go for specific trades. And then also the question is, are you even going to win that trade, right? So yeah, not the easiest. Level 5 to level 5. Riven not trading back at all here. Could have definitely tried to trade back on that. As the Shaco, though, will find Riven. Will deal a lot of damage to Riven, but that is a dead Shaco once again. The Shaco absolutely not helpful here to the team so far. It's died 2 times underneath the turret of the enemy team. Wonder what's up with him. As Jayce will keep his composure and just poke out the Riven here. And trying to punish every single CS. Very important, of course. Moving in. Beautiful usage of that W. And we're going to E and unfortunately not kill the Riven. Now you gotta be a little bit careful here with the level 6, as Riven did get the kill. But I think that with this wave currently, it should still be a decent position here for the Jayce. Jayce now will be roamed upon by the Lux. He does see her. He's gonna get the shock blast anyway and will walk away. And this is a prime example why Jayce can be so good. As a beautiful Lux E comes out and the trust. Ooh, that was a close one, man. The shock blast will land. As we are trying to bait it out here for the Ahri. Going to trade ourselves in, but that should be a double kill for Ahri as long as she plays it right. As the Ahri flash, the charm will unfortunately catch a minion and Riven will stay alive. Could have been played a little bit better here by the Ahri, but it is still totally fine. 2-0. Good amount of kills picked up here for the Shaco as well. But obviously in this fight it was the Riven. As Jayce did sacrifice himself for a potential 2 kill lead. Potential 2-for-1. Now it is just a 1-for-1. Which isn't nearly as good. But at least trades back the kill, right? So at least it is something, but I personally would have loved a little bit of a more considerate play by Ahri. Not going into melee range like that. Obviously can be tempting, because it kind of guarantees your skill shots to land. But on the other hand, right, Riven will deal a lot of damage to you. So Riven did use her ultimate. This is something that we want to keep in mind. Now the cooldown isn't too long, but it is still there. So we can definitely use that. As of course, right, we are going to be trying to punish the Riven here. Not the best auto attack so far, hitting a lot of minions. And just going into the shield. Shock Blast will not land, as the Riven re-engage here will be blocked by the E. And that is what makes Jayce so good against Riven. Or against the Tryndamere, is whenever they go on top of you, you can just cancel the E, cancel the... yeah, both of the E's actually. And just knock them back, as Riven will find a good engage here and will take down the Jayce. That's really rough. That was beautifully played. And that is exactly what you have to do as Riven. Is you have to enter into that melee combat to be able to take this guy down. Level 8 acquired now for the Riven, as she is quite strong at this point. Obviously running Coalfield's Warhammer and Pickaxe is going to build out her item in just a second here. Would actually love to know what the item is going to be. Yeah, it's going to be a Tiamat. Of course. As Twitch. Waiting, lurking. Will not find anything here onto the Ahri. Ahri will not find anything conversely, but Lux with a stray binding will tag the Ahri. Doesn't really do too much. But still, bit of a scary situation, as obviously the pings are coming down and we are checking out where the bot lane is. Twitch is gonna move on in. The Rakan is ready. Rakan can just get him safe to safety here, as the Twitch has to be a little bit careful here. Jarvan now gonna find the invade here onto the Shaco. Not much to do there though. Level 8. A level lead on a Riven is super scary. That is definitely not what you want to be in as a position. As Riven is going to give over like a little bit of a freeze here. As the Jayce will group up with his team. Shock Blast lands. Shaco needs to get himself out of there. Will get himself out of there. As this Jayce is looking for a fight here. As Rakan will now join. And also the Ahri as we take down the Riven. And we will continue moving onwards. The fight is a little bit split as the Ahri will go after the Jarvan. And everyone else went after the Lulu, which is a little bit questionable. But Jarvan will be taken down anyhow by a beautiful roam here by the AD carry. As Ahri is going to move in back into the mid lane. And the AD carry will take his leave to go back into the bottom lane here. Now with the newfound rule over the top lane. Of course, we are going to shove that out. Try to make it back to base with a little bit of gold. Maybe we will take the plating here. Could even stay because, let's be honest, there's not too much in our future. I mean, there is currently, we could probably purchase a Coalfields Warhammer. So that isn't too terrible. But also, yeah, as we are going to stay, we can just take another plate. 2 Ws have been activated. Onto the tower. The Shock Blast comes in to CS 1 minion. But are we going to get the others? Yes, we are. Very beautiful damage foresight. And we are going to give Riven the shove here. 3 minions, which could be frozen. Riven definitely wants to stop that, but this story almost writes itself, as the Riven will have to aggress very, very far here. So as long as you can stay out of her range, you should be fine. And now that her shield is down, her E is down, you can get a little bit of poke on to her here, as the Conqueror is obviously stacking up. We are dealing even more damage as well. And Riven needs to be very careful here, but so does the Jayce. This Riven is 50% HP, but still a level above and still very scary. She can catch yourself a little bit lacking here on the positioning. She will take you down, and this is why this matchup is actually a really good matchup to showcase how good the Riven would be, slash how good a Jayce player is. This Riven, probably one of the more difficult matchups for the Jayce. Definitely a good matchup for the Jayce, but still can be super scary as long as Riven comes ahead. And if you can't play Jayce very well, your spacing is not immaculate, which, let's be honest, it's not very easy to get, then it can be a little bit of a struggle. Alright, as Riven is gonna just place down a ward. That doesn't even place a ward, just checks for wards. Is Jarvan. Yeah, the Jayce is going to take his leave, and he will come back with a fully completed Eclipse. Now, the problem is that Riven doesn't quite have the Hydra, but still has the ability to get that, as the Shock Blast will not land. We are going to stop the Riven here. Yeah. Are going to stop the Riven here, as Riven actually stops herself. He wouldn't have even stopped her. He would have let her recall, crash the wave real quick. But now, this is a pretty good situation to be in. The problem is, yeah, this is the thing, right? Riven's E is able to absorb a Shock Blast, which means that you have to punish her once her E is on cooldown, because that takes a lot away from her mobility, her combo potential, as she can find very good engages here with that combo. As a very good and quick trade here, the shield comes in handy for the Jayce, as he will outtrade the Riven heavily. Good Shock Blast landing, good E connecting. So very good job here by both of the players, as the Jayce will hold the minions on this side for now, but might decide to push it out. Instead is going to move in to the Herald here for a second, going to place his ward, and I think that we are now going to push out the wave real quick, as we know for sure that this Riven has left, and since she doesn't have TP, it's very easy to control the wave against her. Shaco now, wanting to take down the turret here though, is going to summon the Herald. Should have placed the boxes probably after, as 2 people are coming here to stop this, but it's going to be very hard to stop it. Alright, time to leave now. The Riven will catch out Shaco, but I mean, you know, Shaco, very slippery guy. It's going to be very difficult to get, and so top lane turret just goes down. Lot of cash injection here into the Jayce, which hasn't been spent yet, so you have to keep that in mind. I don't know who is pinging like that, but Seems like they are pretty mad. Could be a Riven, let's be honest. Riven players have been known to be on the toxic side sometimes. As we are waiting for our item here. Nope. Okay, we're just waiting for full mana, as now we have a plated steel cap to our name. Plated steel caps works out great against the Riven. Obviously reduces a lot of her damage, but also works great against the Twitch and the Jarvan. This Riven is gonna move in between the turrets here, but I don't know if that is a good idea. She will be going for a trade here, as the Jarvan now will move into the top side and has to move quick, as the turret will not attack minions any longer. Good attempt here by the Jayce, but he will be taken down, and that should have probably been a clear read here. If the Riven plays it like that in a trade that she will clearly lose, then the jungler is probably around and you shouldn't go underneath your turret, but rather just respect the Riven and give her the tower. Instead, we blow our flash and we go down. And so far, I mean, I would say that generally this Jayce did play that pretty good. I think he could have played it a little bit more aggressively. If you look at those legendary Jayce players like the Zeus, there's a little bit more going on, right? In the early lanes, they're just testing the enemy a little bit more, moving back and forth, and trying to get like one stray auto tech in just a little bit more than this Jayce did, but generally not too bad. And of course, he has been dealt the classic top lane hand, where you just get like knocked back and forth in the lane lead by the junglers and by fights and stuff. Shock Blast is going to take that blue buff down to 1 HP, and Riven will take it for herself. Aha! Very good transition, eh? Did you catch it? As the Aphelios will secure the last hit onto the dragon, but Aphelios definitely not in a bad position. And Jayce will be moving in with his team now. Does have the Shock Blasts available here and will be using that off cooldown. A flash comes out of the Ahri as we are going to take down the Lux. Fortunately not able to catch anyone else. Riven now has joined her team as well. Will be detected here on the flank position by the Shaco, and Jayce will move into the bottom lane now here together with Riven as well. The assignments are pretty clear, as Ahri will have to go to the top side. Generally not a bad situation here for the Ahri. Definitely something that you would like. Ahri, why are we not going? Why, Ahri? Why are we going to the mid lane? What is that all about? As the Riven, I want to critique the Riven a little bit, because I think that Riven could have tried to hold the wave a little bit and made Jayce use the Shock Blast on to the wave instead, and try to push that out. But we'll see. We'll see what happens now, as Jarvan obviously hovering around the bot side. So is Ahri though, and big damage coming out of both of the top laners here, as Ahri is tasked with finishing the job that Jayce has started, as Jayce will deal massive damage here to the Jarvan, but so does Jarvan to him, and he will get out barely, as the Shaco, the Twitch will flash in for a double kill onto both the top laner and the mid laner. Huge shutdown going into the pockets here of the Twitch player, as Lulu will be taken down for sure, but of course the Twitch makes it out alive and will get a lot. Yeah, someone's mad, dude. Twitch will get a lot of money out of this. We don't see it yet, but he will get a good amount of gold out of that. Still is 50 CS behind, so it's not going to change who's ahead yet, but it is a very, very good way to get back into the game, so not too terrible. As the Twitch will take his leave now. I want to see what item he can get here, because I think that was a 700 gold shutdown onto the Ahri, which is pretty scary. Obviously not so much onto the Jayce, but with Jayce players, I found one thing, right? If you look at Zeus, who is definitely the trademark Jayce, he's definitely one of the best Jayce players. Don't look at the stats so much, but generally look at what they've accomplished, right? The top lane tower has been taken down. Now, in the end, this one wasn't nearly as good as it could have been. He's been caught out by the Riven once. He has made some sloppy decisions here on the top lane fundamentals, I guess, getting dove by the Jarvan. kind of unfair to hold that against him, but at the highest levels of play, obviously you can, as that was semi-predictable here, and that the Riven wouldn't overextend herself without a reason. And that reason clearly being set up for the Jarvan, as the Riven now is going to get kited around here by the Shaco and the Ahri. The flash will come out and she will trade herself into the Ahri with just infinite damage available. They will be able to take down the Ahri, but Jarvan counter trades the Shaco. This is so far just a 2-for-2 if the Jarvan goes down. And so not really the best trade here for the red team, but at least the blue team was able to kind of trade back, but still would want a more optimal trade here with a little bit of gold, obviously, on the Jayce. Not too terrible, but this Jayce definitely has enough gold to have some impact here on the game. And of course, one thing that is really good about the Jayce is that he can just put out so much poke damage during the mid-game phases here of the match. Teleport coming in by the Ahri as she will look to catch out the Lux. Lux caught with the charm and will be just taken down here by the Ahri. No ultimate available as Jayce will take down a turret and has to leave now, but very good job. Will get out of dodge quickly enough and thus just melts down the turret. Very good job and will leave in time. So this is a very good play, right? Takes the objective, gets out, knows where everyone is. Now here, this is a scary situation. Jarvan will not stop. Will stop his recall as the Twitch will find him and the polymorph comes out. Jarvan not able to do much. However, now the Lulu ultimate and the polymorph are kind of down, and that means that Twitch and the Lulu will go down here to a absolutely huge Aphelios, and very well played by the Jarvan. Oh, by the Jayce flashing out and jumping back into the fight at the opportune time and kind of waiting out Twitch's strongest part of the fight, as the Lux will look for a ultimate steal here, and this is something that Lux can do very easily, but very good discipline here by the blue team as they will just wait out her damage, and she is unfortunately not able to pick up the Baron steal. Although very easy for a Lux player to pick that one up. And thus, a Baron will go over to most of the enemy team here. Most of the blue team. Shaco unfortunately doesn't get it. But that is totally fine. We don't need it on Shaco or the Rakan. Having it on the 3 carries that will be on lanes and pushing out lanes is good enough, right? We have it in the mid lane, we have it in the top lane and the bot lane. As now we will have it in the Dragon, because the Dragon fight is obviously starting out. The Dragon being quite the focal objective here of this fight. Potential soul point available here for the red team after this Dragon. So you need to be a little bit careful. Jarvan will definitely try and look. Jarvan jumping in, trying to go and finds the objective steal here. As the Twitch with very low HP will be space gliding onto the enemy team, but will be taken down anyhow. No matter how fast you space glide, Ahri glides faster as a triple kill here goes over to the Shaco and Lux. Once again, not at the objectives. Yeah, I definitely understand why people are flaming this Lux. The question is, why is Lux playing like this? Is she playing like this because people are flaming her, or the other way around? Always a little bit difficult to say, but I would assume that this is a little bit of a soft inting angle here from the Lux, and also their team just being a little bit too toxic, you know, just a little bit, as it would happen. European players tend to be a little bit toxic sometimes, telling people to get ropes and stuff. Not the best, not the best. As the Aphelios almost at the Bloodthirster. Hopefully he's going to pick that up on the next recall here, and that would be absolutely great. As Jarvan will look for the Aphelios, and Aphelios in a very, very strong mode right now when it comes to the weapon, so he will be able to take down the Jarvan, but the knockup is enough to give Twitch the opening here to take him down, as the Twitch is going to flash out the charm, but Ahri will be able to just stat check him anyhow, and will take down the Twitch for a triple kill. Twitch, Lulu, and Ari going down. No, never mind. That was a double kill. It was a double kill. That just showed up on the screen. Right. So we have the Riven and we have the Lux. Lux, kind of just an NPC. Riven, though, has a plan. She will flash onto the Ari, but will be peeled off by the Rakan here. Now is out of fuel and will just go down. And this is the problem with Riven, right? If you don't kill on that initial flash, then it can be very difficult to find the target again, as the cooldown is low, but not low enough, as the Twitch will hit a huge ultimate here, taking down the entirety of the enemy team. But beautiful shock blast, and Ari will catch another one onto the Twitch, actually secured by the Shaco, who did trade himself for it. Not too bad. Lux decided to join her team for now, is going to take massive damage, but with a beautiful play will actually catch out the Jarvan here. Flash used, but this was very, very beautiful. Very well done, as the Q tagged the Jarvan. She flashed out of harm's way and will tag that and get that ultimate kill, which means the ultimate back up on cooldown in just a couple of seconds already, which is obviously always great. Yeah, this would be great if she could be looking for a little bit more catches here, as she will be moving on. But yeah, you need to be very careful with this Philios, obviously. Philios now has this Bloodthirster available as well, has the Zeal. So as long as he doesn't get CC'd and knocked up constantly, he should be fine. The problem is that it is very easy to knock him up here as the Jarvan, and then can be very difficult to do anything as a Philios but attack Jarvan. But, you know, one Lux binding, one Lux E, that is absolutely unavoidable. One ultimate. Switch will find the kill onto the Ari. Big shutdown going over to him. 400 gold. That is pretty rough. Don't give that to an AD carry at this point of the game. It was a good try to take him out, but unfortunately he did live. There's a Shaco in the side lane going to try to push that one in and set it up. Currently we find ourselves in a little bit of a low state. That is not going to continue much longer though, as the dragon is going to be quite the pivotal objective. Now super important, as this is soul point here. Thanks to a great steal on Jarvan's side on the previous dragon, this is going to be soul point here available for the red team, which puts a lot of pressure onto the blue team, who, you know, are ahead 8k gold, but also have lost previous dragons. So gotta be a little bit careful. Also, obviously, the Twitch is going to be quite scary. He doesn't have his Infinity Edge finished, though. So he's not going to be nearly as rippy onto the low HP targets as he would be. But, you know, it's going to be dealing massive damage here to anyone. Anyhow. And, you know, it's not very easy to poke out someone like the Twitch. So we will see how this goes. Already generally very good at pressuring out the Twitch. But we will see. Jarvan now is going to initiate that dragon. Riven. Effing around a little bit, as a beautiful Lux ultimate will catch the Aphelios. Aphelios getting out of harm's way for now, but needs to be careful. Dealing massive damage here, but now he's caught in the Cataclysm, and now the Twitch is trying to run circles around everyone, but the charm lands and that seals the deal, and now there is no Jarvan to steal anything, as we could pick up this dragon, or we could just try to end. In this case, Shaco decides for the dragon, just sort of safety, as Jarvan will move in to the middle lane, and Ari will walk into the bot lane here and will pick that one up. Did I just see a game announcement? Did I just see a file name on my screen? Ah, Riot Games. Your game is almost as well programmed as my casts are well done, man. Well commentated. Whoa. Ay. Double inhib going down. Those are pretty nasty inhibs as well, given the fact that Baron Nashor is the objective here. I've never noticed the scar on his eye. That's actually so cool. And that also makes a lot of sense. Mr. Baron. Oh, loads of pings. Rakan is gonna try to set up some vision here. Moving the scrying orb is already a good start. Aphelios just gonna start that objective. Kind of a questionable choice, as obviously Aphelios will do less damage to the objective now. Also, obviously, he doesn't take any damage from the objective, so that isn't too bad. Also has the Infernum in his hand, so not necessarily a point you want to be at. Something went wrong there, as the Shutdown has been acquired onto... Oh my god, that is rough. Shutdown has been acquired here by the Twitch onto the Shaco, and then also by the Lux onto the Ahri. That is a big problem. Question is, why was Shaco in the bottom side in the to begin with, you know? But it is what it is. This Chase. I'm gonna try to lay out a trap here, knowing that Twitch will not be there yet. And the Jarvan will be starting out on the Baron here. Twitch is in the bottom side, so this Baron should be very slow and can be definitely poked out, as Jarvan and Riven need to be ready to leave. As Jarvan, though, making a really big blunder and is going to E in. The Cataclysm does absolutely nothing. That is the jungler going down. A pivotal moment here in the dance around the Baron, as now Shaco is back on the map. You know who isn't? The enemy Jarvan. So now it's only Lux to be worried about when it comes to dealing damage to the objective here. Lux has been spotted out. Question mark pings are on the way, as Ahri is going to move in and try to catch out the Lux here. Lux going to place that E to kind of track the success, as this engage is going to find a Lux dead, and that means that no one is around to steal this objective, and it just goes to the blue team. It goes to the Shaco. Out of all, who would have thought that the jungler would acquire the last hit on to the Baron? Who would have thought that this jungler is able to get a last hit onto a objective? It's been a little bit rough so far as Jarvan. Gonna blunder in once again. Beautiful damage here out of the Twitch, but he will just be blown up. And now Jarvan will go into the J. Huge damage found here by the Riven, but unfortunately her team doesn't stay alive, and so she will take immense damage, and a double kill for the Shaco, as objectives isn't the only thing that he's last hitting. He is also taking the Nexus with him, and that means that the game is over. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. And stay awesome.